Hello, my name is Sharon Fitzpatrick and welcome to my YouTube channel, Lifestyle with Sharon. Today I'm going to be making spinach quiche and I'll also be showing you how to make the short crust pastry if you wanted to make that yourself. So here we have a nice spinach quiche. Right, you need to weigh out 250 grams of flour. Then you want to weigh out half the amount of fat to flour. So we use 250 grams of flour. So now we want to do 125 grams of butter. And the best butter to use is the normal butter. And make sure it's from the fridge so it's nice and cold. Right, and then to a food processor, you want to, and you don't need to sieve the flour, you just put in your flour. You want to put in your butter, which you would be better off just chopping into little squares. Now, if you don't have a food processor, you can just do this by hand. And if you look at the link below for the cheese and onion or cheese and tomato quiche, I actually show you how to do it from hand if you don't have a food processor. So just mix the flour and butter together. Now we just want to add some water. Yep, that looks good. Okay, so then we take this out and you just get stuck in there with your hands. Take it out of your bowl and you want to just gather it all up together and form it into a ball type shape, and then you want to cover that in cling film and leave in the fridge for about an hour. If you like the video, do give it a thumbs up. Right, we're going to roll out our pastry to put in the dish to make our lovely quiche. We're going to just sprinkle some flour onto your worktop, a little bit onto your rolling pin, and you can just start gently rolling and then turn it around slightly and roll the other way. Just keep doing this until it gets to a size bigger than the dish you're going to put it in. So if you just measure it by putting your dish on top of the pastry, and then you can see as I lift up, I'm not quite high enough to get up over the edge, so I need to do it a little bit bigger. So we'll place that in the middle, and as you can see, as we come up, we've got plenty going over the edge. Right, to lay it on top of the dish, what you want to do is put your rolling pin on top of the pastry, about almost halfway, and you roll the pastry onto your roller and you just bring it around. You get your dish and you place the dish and unroll your pastry. And what you want to do from here is lift the pastry up as you're pushing down with your finger like that. And the reason why you have to pull that up is so that you won't poke a hole in it. If you just suddenly went like that into it without pulling it, it might make a hole. If you make a hole, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't really matter that much. It just means you have to patch it up with a bit of the excess pastry. But it's important that you try and push that down as much as you can so it's firmly in place. Then you want to get a sharp knife, lift your dish up, and what you want to do is the outside of your dish, not the inside, the outside, because it will shrink a little bit. So cut the outside away from you. see, and if it's not pushed down properly, what will happen is that the weight of the pastry will come down and then it will end up going inside. That doesn't make any bit of sense. Anyway, so just cut around the edge and the outside. And if you see any bits popping up, just push them back down. And the excess pastry, you just put in some cling film and you can use that for something else later. Now some videos would show you to bake it blind, weigh it down, put it in the oven, then take it back out. I don't do any of that. I literally just make the quiche filling, put it in the oven, and that's it. Keep it simple. And I'd love to hear your comments on what you think of the video and how you get on with yours. And if you think any of your friends would like it, do share it on social media. Right, you want to roughly about 10 grams of butter into a frying pan and add about a tablespoon of olive oil. Once your butter is melted, then you can add the onion. And you want to cook the onions for about 5 to 10 minutes on a nice slow, low heat until they're nice and soft. Oh, I love the smell of fried onions. I love the taste of them too. Okay, once your onions are nice and soft, then you can put them into the quiche dish. We're just going to pour our onions straight into the quiche dish on top of the pastry. And we spread the onions around. Now obviously you don't have to put onions in if you don't want to, but I just love onions. This spinach I've actually washed already a couple of times, so it's all ready to cut up. Cut it up into smallish pieces. Now I'm not going to weigh these. I think just use your own judgment what you think. They're massive. Cut this one in half. My garden was doing well this year. I might roll them up a little bit. That helps to kind of keep them all together while you're cutting. So you don't have to pre-cook this before you add it into your quiche. Cut up loads that I didn't actually need, but that's okay. I'll be using that for something else later. Just cover over your quiche dish. We'll grate some cheddar cheese. You want roughly about 150 grams. We add a cheese on top of the spinach. Now it looks very full, but all this will go down because the cheese will melt and the spinach reduces in size around, so it's fairly even as you can. Right, what we need now is 3 eggs, 3 large eggs. These are really tiny eggs. I'm actually going to put 4 in. Right, we'll give these a mix around. Add some salt, some pepper, and about a spoonful of nutmeg. Then we'll add 100 milliliters of milk. Now you can add 200 milliliters of milk if you didn't want to do the cream, but I actually love to do the cream as well. If you wanted a really rich quiche, you can put 200 mils of cream in instead of milk. And then we just pour this onto the quiche dish, all on top of the cheese and the spinach. If you find that you don't have enough mixture, you can always just make up a little bit more and add it on. It depends on the size of your dish really. Just push this cheese down a little touch. Don't worry about the cheese being higher than the liquid, because as I said, that will melt and reduce. You want to make sure it's not too full that you won't be able to lift it to put it into the oven. That actually looks lovely. And if you haven't done so already, just hit that subscribe button. It's free of charge and it just lets you see more videos that comes up every week. You need to let this cool for about 10 minutes. Right, now we're going to dish out the quiche. After 10 minutes of it been cooled down, so that the dish is not going to be too hot for your hands. You simply put a plate over the top and you tip it upside down. Take the dish off and then you put the plate on the top and turn it over the other way. And there's your quiche. And we'll just cut into this quiche. I usually would divide it up into 6 pieces. And that is your spinach quiche. And if you haven't done so already, just hit that subscribe button. It's free of charge. And it just lets you see more videos that comes up every week. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video today on how to make spinach quiche and short crust pastry. If you like the video...